To the Orange County Funding Corporation Governance Committee meeting. The time is now 3:18. We do apologize for the late start. Bill, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Linda Muller.
Here.
Jeff Christ.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock.
Here.
All right, so we have 4 of 5 members here, 1 excused absence. Also in attendance are staff, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Barras, Hayden Jones, thank you, and our legal counsel, Rudy Zoda. We also have our monitor, Brian Sandvidge, on via Zoom.
Okay, thank you. The proof of notice of this meeting was properly provided. We'll move on to the minutes. I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes as they were presented.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or any corrections that need to be made to the minutes?
Not that I see.
Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor of accepting the minutes from August 6, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Okay, policy review and revisions, we're close, sir. We are, so we're getting there.
In front of you, you have 7 policies that we've revised. Mostly what we were looking to do is make sure that all the language in there is still applicable, but also we added a cover sheet. Thanks from the chairwoman, really from her experience of developing policies in her organization. This is a new format for us. So we provided this cover sheet that does have all the applicable dates, as well as it spells out the statement and purpose, significant principles, the procedure for executing the policy, and means of evaluation of the policy. So we've got these drafts for the audit services policy, the FOIL policy, compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, the management services agreement between OCFC and OCIDA, our notice policy, travel policy, and whistleblower policy. So we have revisions to 7 of the 12 that we've been reviewing, and next month we'll have the remaining 5 for you to review. So really want you to take these, review them at your leisure, provide any feedback with me, and then in October we'll have final versions for hopefully you to recommend to the full board for approval, and then the board would do that. And then we'll handle the second tranche of the final 5 second. We'll start reviewing that in October.
Okay.
So we have those. Rudy, you have copies. You have electronic copies of these that I just sent to you, so you have them as well. And Brian Sandvidge has them as well. So we'll come back in October after getting feedback, final revisions, and look to approve those 7.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you. New business fee schedule. Bill.
Yes, so talked about this for a little while. We're looking to revise the fee schedule because of the work required for us to provide only sales tax exemption or mortgage recording tax exemption. We tried to keep the rates lower so that if someone isn't looking for a pilot, it can really, the incentives can work for them and the fee schedule can as well. We just found that the fees are far too low. They're not commensurate with the work that's required. So we did update the entire policy. We have in your packet a summary of the changes. That's the first document after the minutes, saying what we did. I can go through that quickly. I just want to give you a new copy of the new version because there are 2 things that we added that council picked up on. Thanks, Jeff. The items that you did not see here are in yellow. I may have to email that to Brian if I didn't already. So it's everything you see, Brian, except we added, there was a typo under application fee under section A highlighted. That's really $5,000 in application fees due at that time, broken up in the 2 $2,500s that you see below it. And then in the highlighted below that is a section we added, which we talked about, but I did not have it in the initial draft, that really is a means for us to recoup expenses tied to processing a project, mostly a public hearing. So, for example, for the Amazon public hearing, we have to pay custodial fees, we have to pay a rental rate to the school district for using their room, and we pay for a stenographer, which in that case was very expensive. And also I wanted to cover cost benefit analyses, because for some of these projects, we want a third-party analysis, and we paid, most recently, $7,000 for that. So we wanted to add to the fee schedule the reimbursement of expenses. So those are two that you hadn't seen until now. And then going back to the summary of the changes, we're keeping the same way that we charge closing fees for pilots, but it does differ based upon the industry sector that the applicant falls under. So we have different formulas you see on, this is on page 5 of your packet. Priority industry sector, so that's like advanced manufacturing, biotech, things like that. You've got that calculation. Manufacturing sector is next. And then workforce housing we had to add. And then we revised the hotel hospitality sector, warehouse distribution, and the retail sector. So we've added those categories that match what our revised UTEP covers, but it's basically essentially a very similar way that we're calculating those charges. Next is sales tax exemption. So we have the new calculation for sales tax exemption is if it's all based upon the benefit, the portion of the project that would be exempted. And if that portion of the benefits is up to $4 million, then it's 0.5% of the cost of the project that is subject to sales tax. It's in excess of $4 million. It's 0.25% of the cost of the project that's subject to sales tax. And you see I've given you some calculations in there as examples. Mortgage recording tax is next. Same as sales tax exemption, 1% of the total value of the benefit received. And we have an example for that as well. On bond transactions, we're suggesting no changes, except that we do have a new rate for taxable bonds, which we have not issued yet, but we want that to be an option for us. That's 0.25% of the principal amount of the bonds. And we also have a rate for refinancing of bonds, which is 0.5% of the principal amount of the bonds to be refinanced. Any questions on these before I pause here?
No?
Okay. We also added some new fees in this second section on page 6. Project commitment fees. This is something we emulated from what Rockland does. This also can help a problem we have where we are processing applicants through the approval process, where they're getting authorized for a public hearing, we're holding a public hearing, and even authorizing a final authorization of the incentives, but we don't get any fees for that until the project actually legally closes. There's a legal closing on it. So what we want to do is have some sort of commitment that will come out of their eventual closing fees, that once we authorize a public hearing, once we induce the project, which authorizes a public hearing, then we will charge them a commitment fee that makes them put something up no less than $2,500 and no more than $10,000. So they have a little more skin in the game, so that they've got money out there. We want to ensure that they close the project. So it does cover costs associated with processing the application for the IDA and for legal counsel. So that's new, project commitment fees for both IDA and FC. Next is local labor administrative fee. So we do collect funds that go into escrow to pay for the local labor monitoring, but we're also looking to have the agency receive a fee for us managing the local labor policy, and in this case it's just $1,000, which is a low fee, frankly, for what it takes for us to administer that policy. So we did add that. We added annual compliance fees, proposing an annual, this really just, again, helps us with the administration of reporting and collecting data from the projects. So we're proposing an annual compliance fee of $750 for all projects. They also are, as you know, are required to respond to our confirmation letter, blanking on that, thank you, the confirmation letter, where we're looking for all of their relevant data around the project, proof of pilot payments, etc. That's due February 20th of every year in order to allow us to process and do do our own reporting on time. If the applicant, the project misses that date, then we'll impose a $2,500 late fee. And lastly, a couple new transaction fees, just to cover the costs associated with the administrative work we do. For example, the easement that we approved for GTI, and then we have another one before us, another easement that we are processing. So we're looking to add administrative fees as follows. $1,000 to process a termination of a project, which we've done a number of them lately, working with Blakely Platt. A $1,500 fee to cover time and expense required to process various transactions, like the easements and such, and other transactions such as assigning benefits to a new company. When a company is sold, they will look to pass on their incentives to the company purchasing them. If we approve that, then we will charge them a $1,500 fee. So those are the new fees.
Quick question there, probably for Rudy. The closing or the termination of a project, that's a completion of the pilot.
Correct. We can terminate it early, or the applicant can choose to terminate it
Okay.
early, but it's upon the completion of the benefits. So if a pilot runs out, that's when we have to terminate the
Okay.
project as well.
And I was just wondering, that's not really part of the fees for the pilot at the beginning of the project?
No.
Okay. And the various transactions, $1,500 seems pretty light. Does that include covering attorney fees?
It does not. They charge their own.
Oh, okay, well, that's
Okay.
better. All right,
Exactly.
I'm all right.
That's really just to cover the IDA's time
Yeah.
and effort.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm looking at all the fees, the new fees that have been added. Do we also look at other ideas and see if we are having so many fees added?
Yes, sir. When we revised these a couple of years ago, and it was we were working with Bousquet Holstein at that time, and we did kind of a whole survey of area IDAs in the whole region, and we used that. We're just finding that some of them aren't working for us, so now we're leaning a little bit more on Rockland County IDA. It's actually, our council is council to Rockland as well, so they've executed those fee schedules. So we've just revised it based upon what we like out of Rockland and still considering the rest of the IDAs that we looked at. So we did look very comprehensively, but between the last edits and the current edits.
Could I just ask for clarification? The project commitment fees, where do I find it in the yellow copy?
Right here, B, project commitment fees on the first page.
On the project, got it, thank you, sorry. Got it. Okay. Did you have anything else that you wanted to,
No, that's it on the new fees.
anyone have any questions about the new fee schedule?
I'm good with them.
All right, are we
We're looking
voting?
for your recommendation, the
To
committee's
pass this out.
recommendation for the full adoption by the full board.
So I will ask a motion to recommend the approval of this new fee schedule at the board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, carries. Thank you. All right, and now the ethics officer.
Yes. So, starting on page 25 of your packet, are bylaws of the, 24 technically, the cover page, the bylaws of the Orange County Funding Corporation. We have a couple additions. We have mention of, we revised language in section 8 and section 9. That's on page 34 of your packet, the small number. These are positions that are not filled, but we want to keep them as official or formally accepted positions, that the language was changed so that the CEO, myself, has the discretion to appoint a COO or to appoint a CFO. And we also are clear that with the CFO, the CFO can be appointed as an external position, which is really what we have now. We have RBT CPAs. certified public accounting firm that serves as our external finance officer, which I think just adds even more oversight and transparency so that the public knows that it's hard to commit fraud when you have a CPA as your CFO. So we do have that in there. And then on the next page, 35 of your packet, 12 of the bylaws, you see section 10 is an ethics officer. So we are adding that upon the recommendation of our monitor for both OCFC and OCIDA. So that, Brian, can I defer to you and ask if you could just give your explanation of why it's important and how it can be utilized?
Sure, and it also goes into having a reporting mechanism for it. So if someone felt that there was an issue or a concern for a conflict of interest, and we always use the definition, a conflict of interest would be the perception of one, that they've got someone to go to talk. So whether it's a staff member, a board member, or someone out in the public, there's someone there that they would report what their concern was to, and then that individual would be able to act on it and to report out. So it gives a designated individual to, if someone had a concern, who they would ultimately bring it to their attention.
Thank you.
Is that a position you want to fill now, or we have to
The
fill?
ethics officer?
Yeah.
It's just identifying it,
So not necessarily, so there's nobody slated to be considered right now?
the chairperson.
The chairperson.
And then
Oh,
if the
okay.
chairperson of the board
That's right.
has a
Mhm.
conflict, then it's chairperson of governance.
Okay, I remember.
So we will need to recommend approval for that, correct?
Correct.
And then the change on page, sorry. On page 5 of the bylaws, 28 in the small number,
Mhm.
the positions of chairperson, vice chair, and secretary, were those changed from the previous bylaws?
The previous, not in this version, in this change, no. We had one other, I think it was an assistant secretary position we did eliminate in a prior round of
Okay,
revisions
so these
that
are
we
what are
did.
currently approved?
Yes,
So the
correct.
only approval has to be the addition of the ethics officer?
And the mention, the verbiage in the sections that identify the CFO and COO.
7, 8, and 9.
Page 11.
Yep.
Yep, thank you. Page 11 or 34 in the packet.
I would think the CEO might want to seek guidance from the board or maybe a committee on these appointments. But I would think would have confidence that would happen. When it says in her sole discretion, it kind of insinuates it's leaving out the board.
It makes me a little bit nervous since there's no reference back to the budget.
Yeah.
So if these are non-budgeted positions, which I believe they are
That
now.
too.
We'd have to have approval from the finance committee to approve a budget that would allow for those positions to be filled.
But does that go in the bylaws, do you think, Verdi?
There's gotta be a way, there's oversight, you just can't
Well,
just.
it's like me hiring the director of administration and finance and compliance
It
manager. I
still
mean,
comes to us for a vote.
Right, but where doesn't really, where does it say that?
Right. Section 6 is refers to vacancy, so if it's a vacancy, right here,
True.
Is that Article 4, the corporate officers and staff? Okay, you're correct. You are correct.
that's the way I would interpret it.
Thank
It
you.
still has to come in front of the board.
Go ahead.
but
So
now,
we could turn it down.
would you approve, would they, from that language that they're pointing out, is that just approving filling it or approving who I'm filling it with? Because that I would,
We don't need to know you're gonna recommend who the person is.
you just want to
We
approve
just
that
make
we're
sure
filling the
that
position.
we've got the monies available, and that you get board approval for that.
I don't think it's clear whether it means whether the position will be filled or who will fill the position.
Right.
We can clarify that.
If
Yeah,
it's just-
I think it's very vague, to be in the business of telling our CEO, who they can and cannot hire is not the board's role. However, ensuring that there are the resources to pay for the position, should that position need to be filled, that becomes an issue for the board to approve, in my opinion.
Upon recommendation from the finance committee?
I think it starts in the finance committee and then needs to go to the board. You know, if it's in the budget, then it's in the budget, there's no questions about it, but right now, I don't believe these are funded positions.
They are not currently in the current budget, no.
So I think there needs to be some reference that, you know, they need to be, if they are an unfunded position, then it needs to come out of the finance committee for approval. And if they're funded positions, then go forth and do good. After that, who they hire is his choice. But without knowing it's in the budget, I don't think we can.
Again, I'm not an attorney, but reading section 6, it almost seems like Bill would come to the board and ask to have that position filled, and then you would move forward with filling that position. So I just say, hey, look, I'm looking now to fill the CEO position. The board will review that. We would have our discussion in terms of budget, and then we're basically releasing you to go ahead and fill that position.
That's how I interpret
Or-
that. Do we need to
or
clarify
if you-
that with that language?
I think it's easier to say for all budgeted positions. Just simple language that would reference that it would be budgeted. If it's not budgeted, you know, it has to come before a committee. If it is budgeted, then it doesn't. It becomes simple.
Section 6 is really a holdover from the prior bylaws, and the changes in sections 8 and 9, I don't think they gel well with section 6,
Mhm.
so we can adopt that change to
Yeah, I'll just
make it work better.
make it clear.
Yes.
So do we want to work on this today, or are we just going to pass the ethics officer? I'd rather see some language.
Yeah, why don't we clean it up and have it perfect then?
So
And
can
approve
we
the bylaws.
we want to do the ethics officer tonight?
I'd rather really make sure the bylaws are correct and have the board approve them
Okay, fine.
perfectly. So as completed.
So we will then defer the approval of any changes, including the ethics officer, until the time that they're cleaned up.
Yep, and we'll take a look at IDA and see if we feel the same way.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at section 18, compensation. Do we need clarification there, because reimbursement on reasonable expenses? I mean, what is reasonable? What is quantification there? What would be reasonable expenses? Please
Section
get
18.
that down.
What I can tell you, Doctor, is in the policy manual, it explains about out-of-pocket expenses. So I don't think it needs to be in the bylaws, but it needs to be in the operational side on how it gets paid for, so it is referenced
Okay.
in the policy.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We do have the reimbursement policy where that's spelled out.
That's what I
Yeah,
just
right,
said.
exactly.
So we're okay there.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you could put a side note that says, please refer to the policy if you wanted to, but I don't think that's necessary. It says that we're going to reimburse, and then it says how do we reimburse. Is there anything else that we need to discuss, Bill?
I think that's it on these bylaws.
Okay, so we have no action that needs to come out of committee.
And we'll bring that back next month.
Okay, then I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Second.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We have now officially closed the governance committee meeting for the Orange County Funding Corporation. Do you want to go directly into the next one for the IDA?
When Katie's ready.